Have you ever been worn out from attempting to keep things under control? Control. Sometimes the obstacle is the very attempt to exert too much control. Keeps us from pursuing happiness and prosperity, according to billionaire investor Warren Buffett famously remarked. When it comes to sacrifice, I think of time first. I can purchase anything I desire because it's the sole item that no one else can purchase. But in essence, time is the most valuable resource, yet I cannot purchase it, which we all have, and as Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and other billionaires have demonstrated to us, the power of doing less. In accomplishing more, they not only sacrifice some everyday hobbies, but also carefully allocate their time and energy to what really matters, since it not only enables them to accomplish their objectives, but also makes room for, come along on this trip with us today and see beautiful things unfold organically. In order to learn more about this technique, we will examine in this video how the don't force philosophy should be applied to all facets of life, including employment and connections, as well as to ourselves. By adopting the difficulty of seeing the entire film without missing any of the lessons, since you can comprehend how any one of the following 5 ideas can, if you're prepared to take on this challenge, allow life to unfold organically without pushing or hurrying. Challenge. Please write a remark stating that I accept it and won't give. The first concept is that clinging to poisonous things will lead to more. More suffering will result from holding on to harmful items. Suffering in this life while leading a physically and psychologically healthy lifestyle becomes crucial. One theory that offers tremendous mental fortitude is Stoicism, is a philosophy that promotes non-resistance and acceptance to unchangeable facts, which promotes tranquility and productive emotions control, especially when it comes to letting go of negative aspects. Stoicism not only keeps us free of needless obligations and leads us to a more contented and more living a fulfilled life after putting a great deal of love and energy into a project. A passion or a relationship. Everything initially appears to be growing in a great way as you had imagined, but you eventually realize if the project is not producing the desired results, and that causes the relationship to deteriorate and the pastime to lose its joy, this is the moment when you feel exhausted and disappointed. How would Stoic philosophy describe this circumstance? You are encouraged to be open and bravely accept the reality and go on. This does not imply failure, but that you're creating room for new opportunities. And Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once penned, "Joys, you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. Recognize this, and you will discover strength. It's always possible to break a terrible habit, an unpleasant relationship, or a project that is no longer appropriate. Take Emma's story as an example. Designer who dedicated many years to creating a range of products she firmly believed in, Emma poured a great deal of time and money into the project. Imagination in every aspect, from the first designs to the finished marketing tactics, in spite of her commitment and the initial enthusiasm for the product line. But her target market did not respond well to it. Sales to the audience were slow, and the reviews weren't as favorable as she had hoped. Emma remained up night after night, grappling with the knowledge that her idea might not be as successful as she had imagined, that the idea of giving up on something he had worked so hard to achieve was tragic. But Emma understood in her heart that keeping resources invested, putting pressure on this failing initiative, would only result in more disappointment. Exhaust her creative spirit following a period of introspection, and Emma made the difficult decisions after having emotional conversations with her advisors and co-workers. It was a difficult decision to end this product line, but she recognized the need to create space for new opportunities. This crucial choice enabled Emma to refocus her attention and efforts on more promising initiatives that are more in line with customer preferences and market trends preferences. As Emma started new business endeavors, she found her enthusiasm and feeling of purpose were restored, and she started innovating with ideas for newer, more appropriate products immediately gained traction. This was well received. This modification not only rejuvenated her profession, but also gave her confidence that she could adjust and thrive in the adversity. Emma's story demonstrates that giving up on a project that isn't working, extremely challenging situations can occasionally lead to new beginnings. Instead of seeing it as a goal, it might be viewed as a tactical change that will lead to increased professional success. Her experience is evidence of the Stoic conviction that sometimes fortitude is not found in bearing the intolerable, but in having the guts to begin anew with greater clarity. And according to the Spirit Stoic philosopher Seneca, we don't have a limited amount of time to survive, but we squander a lot of it with each setback and surrender. Become a springboard for future achievement and contentment if we take lessons from it and apply the knowledge you've gained to conclude that giving up is not simply a portion of life, but also an art. When we recognize the importance of persevering in the proper conditions, we will discover the liberty and fortitude to go with our voyage in a more significant manner, therefore have the courage to confront and accept. The first step to opening up is to let go of things that no longer support your life and objectives. Up a brighter and more optimistic future that aids in our development. Have you ever had to give up anything especially challenging together? What lessons did that teach you that you should never give up? A bad decision, or might it present fresh chances? Tell us about your experiences below, so that others might understand the second principle. Eliminate the worry that you will never experience joy again. The worry that, as a citizen, you would never again be content. You may grow more obeying directives and more prepared to give up your rights for ambiguous. As a worker, you might expect less safety assurances and have a lower willingness to take chances in your personal life towards security, and so exposing yourself to less novel opportunities since you see the future through the prism of dread. That this is not a wise way to live. It's not that these worries are illegitimate. There is no denying that we are living in a dangerous and uncertain period of society. Foolish behavior and apathy can destroy our future. Youngsters, but the issue is that fear-based lenses skew what you observe, that they mostly highlight the negative and exaggerated threats that they pose. Different viewpoints and lead you to sacrifice your fundamental principles because of your unidentified terror narrows your vital need for survival. Normal sensory reactions and intuition are shut off by vision, which promotes violent acts. Just instill fear, which is not acknowledged and not dealt with. Mindfully will cause the death of fear, causes the body to stiffen and the heart to close, wasting the vitality of life. Anticipating future events in a personal setting, the fear of losing happiness might sometimes limit our ability to be creative and autonomous in how we, the Stoic philosophy with its methodical and PR-focused approach lifestyle, provides a different perspective from living in dread, and Stoicism, which accepts fate quietly, invites us to actively embrace truth with composure and consideration. To comprehend how Stoic, in order to overcome this phobia, we must examine how we define and seek happiness. Sen, a renowned Stoic thinker, once claimed that we suffer more in our dreams than in real life. This message serves as a reminder that fear frequently stems from inflated circumstances rather than being a reflection of the truth. Stoic school of thought stresses concentrating on our responses and perspectives on occurrences. As you start to realize that the majority of your fears cannot or need not be managed, you come to see that letting go is not a sign of surrender, but a deliberate decision to live your life without allowing fear to rule its relationship for a long time, and at first everything was great. Initially it appeared that you and your companion were inseparable, but eventually the arguments increased in frequency as the initial happiness and closeness progressively diminished. As joyful occasions dwindled, you started to understand that no matter how, despite your best efforts, this relationship no longer provides you happiness and tranquility. Prior to encountering this circumstance, you have a strong concern that you would never find someone who shares your understanding, but after giving it some thought and taking this into account, you choose not to make any attempt to save this relationship. Expenses, instead, you decide to unwind and acknowledge that things have changed. Maybe this relationship has fulfilled its purpose in your life, but making this choice is difficult. However, it has relieved you of the obligation to preserve and guard something that no longer fits. You open your heart to new ideas rather than attempting to keep things the way they were. Partnerships shortly after you start meeting new individuals that provide a genuine and better feeling of connection with those who comprehend you in ways that you did not anticipate, that by accepting change and not fighting it, you have increased the amount of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, and your life for new positive things to come. According to a Stoic philosopher, your level of enjoyment in life relies on the caliber of your ideas. This emphasizes that by cultivating optimistic thinking and embracing life as it is, we can attain a contented and significant existence, notwithstanding situations in which we avoid letting fear cloud our judgment and abstain from. By compelling events to go our way, we create opportunities for new, constructive results. By exercising non-coercion and fearlessness, we increase our ability to discover joy in every circumstance, a lesson that Stoicism has taught us for millennia. Have you ever been trapped in a similar situation? Tell us about your experience letting go and dealing with unforeseen circumstances. Advantages of that choice for you. Principle number 3. Let go. Give up things that don't belong to you. All of us may have encountered things that are not for you. We all experience mental or physical suffering at some point in our lives, but some people cling to those unpleasant memories, making it more difficult for them to move on more quickly than others. It's normal to struggle and consider your experiences, but eventually you have to stop thinking about what you cannot alter and concentrate on the present, which is under your power. And the future appears straightforward, but we are all aware of. According to Stoic thinkers, letting go can be one of the most difficult things. By managing how we respond to challenging circumstances, we can true contentment and inner freedom are eloquently demonstrated in Epicurus' teaching state that our concerns are not with objects per se, but rather with our perceptions of. This comprehension opens the door to the art of letting go, which is perseverance. On objectives, while letting go of things that don't belong to letting go does not imply giving up on anything or showing no concern, for according to Stoic philosophy, letting go is a sign of wisdom and self-control. Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Understanding this advice really speaks to you, since you have the ability to alter your story at any time," implying that every one of us may alter our lives by altering the way we perceive and respond to our surroundings. Anna is a young. When she first began a company idea, the entrepreneur was excited with a friend. This initiative needed not just monetary funding, but also an energy and emotional dedication from both parties' deep belief in their concept. With collaboration, Anna gave it her all in the hopes that it would flourish, became a well-known and prosperous brand over the course of several months, and every quarter produced an unsatisfactory business report in spite of using a number of tactics and altering the method of consumer interaction. The outcomes did not enhance the project. It started to stall, and the ongoing disappointment. The results left Anna feeling exhausted and hopeless, as if she were fighting in the dark. Uncertain of how to improve the situation amid those protracted periods of insomnia. At night, Anna read a book about Stoic philosophy that she had received as a present from a friend with whom she had founded a company. She started reading, and eventually recognized that although she had little influence over how her idea turned out, she could decide how she reacted to these circumstances. Therefore, she came to terms with that. After giving it some thought, Anna concluded that not all efforts result in the success one dreams for. It was difficult to decide to abandon the project, however essential for her to release oneself from constant stress. She changed her profession to one in which she had a genuine enthusiasm for health and attractiveness, where she could regulate tribute and felt more in control. With this change, Anna not only gained serenity but also accomplished success by putting the Stoic principles into practice and managing what you can and let go of what you can't, which is how she found herself. Inner fortitude, embarked on a fresh journey with rekindled faith, and according to Stoic philosophy, giving go of confidence is not simply an essential life skill, but when we come to terms with the fact that not we are the owners of everything, and while we cannot control every event, we can start the road to happiness and freedom. Keep in mind that timing is crucial, and what you deserve will arrive every day when you're ready. Give yourself permission to open your heart and let go of unneeded baggage every moment, and you'll feel lighter and more equipped to welcome the positive things that are ahead. Your way if you think Anna's narrative and the Stoic philosophy lessons are valuable. That we've posted, kindly hit like and tell your friends about it. For family, this not only gives them a sense of calm and a fresh outlook on life, but also helps our channel by providing more helpful content. People develop daily. The fourth principle is to recognize the reality, no matter how challenging it may be. Truth, no matter how challenging, prior to delving further into principle. Fourth, let's examine the tale of Derek. A motivated worker in the Derek used to be enthusiastic in the field of information technology. His work diligently assisting in the creation of new applications and enhancing current systems, he took pride in being an essential team member that really adds value with his inventiveness and technical know-how. But eventually they started to sense a change in the atmosphere at work. He observed that his views were frequently disregarded and his contributions were no longer valued. When he was successful, he received little or no recognition at meetings, non-existent, which stood in sharp contrast to the initial years when each prosperous project was acknowledged appropriately, but Derek was unable to modify it. Feeling excluded, he started to put in more effort in the hopes thought he could get the attention of his superiors and prove his worth to the team by doing better company. But in spite of his efforts, there was no shift in mindset or acknowledgement from the top brass. Derek eventually had to deal with a difficult choice. Vision chose to quit the work he had previously been enthusiastic about in order to have a new workplace where he could be treated with greater respect. This choice was difficult, but Derek understood that in order to advance both personally and professionally, he needed a setting where his abilities and efforts were valued and supported. His departure created a fresh chance for professional growth and to pursue fulfillment in his career, signifying a constructive shift in his Derek's story, teaches us that some people are used to their work lives, to automatically ignoring the reality and viewing life through rose-colored glasses, darker sides and unpleasant situations people face. But in order to truly find happiness, you must take off your spectacles and embrace the world as it is. Life, in whatever shape it takes, is fundamentally flawed with its fair share of pleasures and annoyances. Even if you choose to ignore despite the harsh facts of life, people continue to assume that you cannot. You will always live if you can fulfill all of your desires, and win over everyone around you. We are frequently taught that in order to be joyful, we should stay away from negativity and concentrate on what brings us joy. Yet Stoic philosophy encourages us to confront and embrace challenging realities, even those that could be difficult. But this is not an invitation to make oneself miserable, but a reminder of the strength of tolerance in the face of unalterable facts, including failure, rejection, or even loss. Stoicism instructs us to release the bad feelings that these facts evoke. This does not imply that we should ignore our emotions, but rather that we should not allow them to overtake and mold our lives, acknowledging that reality not only liberates, not only protects us against delusions, but also makes us more equipped and courageous to face reality. For upcoming difficulties, by acknowledging that something is no longer suitable or unalterable, we may quit squandering time and effort on it and instead concentrate on new objectives and connections that can help us. Letting go of something in life is both a new beginning and an end. Starting when we give up a job, a relationship, or the conviction that no longer serves a constructive function, we provide space for new and more advantageous things. Like Derek, we might discover contentment and freedom in a new field that we have not investigated before, acknowledging the reality, regardless of how the first step is challenging, not just to relieve oneself of needless burdens, but also to pave the way for genuine freedom and contentment when you are able to acknowledge and embrace the reality rather than just confront it, but can also transform anger into a catalyst for constructive transformation and profound personal growth. Keep in mind that although life isn't always fair, we can always decide to confront calmly and sensibly. Are you prepared to confront and accept the challenging realities of your life? Please leave a comment below. I'm prepared. When one door closes, video principle number 5. Another door opens after the first one closes. Unlocks another door just like every other day. Bernie Marcus, 49, arrived at work with his usual briefcase. Company following over 2 decades of hard and committed effort, he has acquired a position as a business manager at last, and all he had to do now was he could retire comfortably if he continued to contribute for a further 11 years, and get his pension. But he never thought that would be his last day of employment there, and your Bernie Marcus was dismissed. What went wrong? Puzzled? No. You didn't do anything incorrectly. The business is simply growing extremely gradually, and the board has chosen to fire a few employees. That's all from Bernie Marcus, a manager. Had joined the large number of jobless people in the city, with living expenses and a lot of due of his burdensome bills, he had to find a new source of. During this period, he frequently traveled to Los Angeles and sat in roadside cafes. Hours to alleviate his feelings of boredom, bewilderment, and severe mental pressure. And then, one day, he ran across a long-time acquaintance and former co-worker, Arthur Blann, who was laid off after serving as a manager at the same company. They consoled one another and discussed the future, saying, "Hey, why don't we start our own?" Bernie Marcus' enthusiasm was rekindled by this company proposal, and dreams that were repressed, so they intend to create a business that specializes on offering construction equipment and services provided by the 2 unemployed former managers at this cafe. Created a strategy for the business with the slogan, "Best prices, lowest prices." Later on, this became a well-known home furnishing service. American Home Storage Company, a US-based business, and then, as you can see throughout the world, the American Home Storage Company's miracle started with, "You're fired," Bernie Marcus said in the spring of 1978 after 20 years to expand from a little, unknown business to a Fortune 500 firm with 775 stores, 150,000 workers, and a yearly income over $30 billion, progressively emerging as a major brand in the worldwide market. The trip through the profession is lengthy, and the future is always unclear. Perhaps you've heard the adage, when God closes one door, he opens another. When a door closes, move on without it. Unfortunately, there are always multiple doors open at once. All you have to do is locate that door and open it within the framework of Stoicism. This proverb assumes a more profound significance, instructing us on acceptance, adaptability, and letting go of the need to fight and inevitability alterations that Stoic thinkers such as Epicus Sena and Marcus Aurelius appreciated acceptance and restraint in any circumstance. They believe that the finest. What matters is not what occurs to us, but rather how we respond to it when one door opens. Closes, we are urged to keep going rather than feeling hopeless and stuck. This guidance on exploring and creating new opportunities is not just spiritual, but also a useful way to keep developing and discovering purpose. In Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Accept the things that fate binds you to, and love those you are destined to be with, but love them with all of your heart." This is a key component of Stoic philosophy, which helps us deal with setbacks and challenges not only with fortitude, but also with self-control and thankfulness, are not about giving up. Rather, they are about actively. We have examined Stoic philosophy in order to embrace life with all of its ups and downs. Final results and the skill of allowing events to develop organically without coercion. Hopefully, this video has taught you how to use the idea of being detached from your everyday life can help you deal with difficulties in a composed manner. How well do you think these Stoic ideas work? Helpful? Please feel free to leave a remark with your ideas and experiences. Please remember to hit like below if you thought this video was helpful. Give it to friends you believe would gain something from these lessons as well. Please subscribe if you're new to our channel so you don't miss any future films. We constantly work to provide insightful and useful stuff to support your development. Continue viewing the subsequent videos that are shown at the conclusion of this one, both personally and spiritually. To carry on with your studies of the Stoic philosophy for together, let's continue to examine this rich idea of self-improvement. Life, I appreciate you viewing, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos.